Nobody expected the Carolina Panthers to come out of the offseason looking like this. While other teams were chasing headlines, Carolina was quietly building something far more dangerous. Behind closed doors, the offense has started clicking in ways fans haven't seen in years. It's not just about new faces, it's about a completely new energy. From the outside, it might look like a standard rebuild, but inside that locker room, it feels like something much bigger. Something is changing in Carolina, and it's happening faster than anyone expected. Bryce Young isn't just talking like a leader, he's acting like one. For the first time since he entered the league, he's not playing catch-up, he's in control. With guys like T-Mac, Jimmy Horn Jr., and Xavier Legette giving the offense new speed and spacing, and with veterans like Adam Thielen and Chuba Hubbard holding it all together, this unit finally has identity. Young called it a shift from learning to growing, and you can see it in every rep, every read, every throw. Even the rookies are picking up the system like they've been in it for years. This offense isn't guessing anymore, it's sharpening the blade. But here's where it gets even more interesting. The Panthers aren't just building chemistry, they're doing it with purpose, speed, and a sense of quiet urgency. They know what went wrong before, and now they know exactly what it'll take to fix it. Bryce is smiling again, the receivers are getting open quicker, and the O-line is holding firm. This isn't a reset, it's a foundation. And with that in place, there's one question rising fast. Has Bryce Young finally turned the corner? Because if he has, what's coming next might shock everyone. But before we jump into that, hit that like and subscribe button for more Panthers and all the NFL content. Let's aim for 500 likes on this video. There's a different look in Bryce Young's eyes this offseason, and it's not something you can fake. After 2 years of chaos, change, and criticism, the Carolina Panthers quarterback is finally stepping into a season without distractions. No new playbook, no fired coaches, no mid-season panic. For the first time in his career, everything around him is stable, and that might be exactly what he needed. Coaches say he's commanding the offense with more urgency, teammates say his voice carries more weight. This isn't a rookie anymore. It's a quarterback who knows the stakes and isn't backing down from them. What makes this moment even more powerful is how quietly Bryce has been preparing for it. While media debates his size, his timeline, and whether Carolina should have picked someone else, he's been putting in the kind of work you don't see on camera. Film sessions, precision drills, off-season workouts, none of it flashy, all of it focused. He knows he's still got critics waiting to pounce, but he's not trying to win them over. He's trying to win games. And behind the scenes, there's growing belief that this might be the year he finally silences the noise. The question isn't just whether Bryce Young will play better, it's whether he's about to prove everyone wrong. Because if the version of him we're seeing at minicamp carries into the regular season, Carolina's offense won't just be improved. It could be dangerous, but every rising moment carries risk. And just as the Panthers start to look balanced, something unexpected hits their depth chart, and it might force them to adjust fast. Just as things were starting to settle, the Panthers got hit with the kind of news that makes coaches nervous. Wide receiver Jimmy Horn Jr. has been sidelined with a hamstring injury. It's not season-ending, and Coach Canales insists it's just precautionary. But in an offense that's finally finding rhythm, even a small disruption can throw things off balance. Horn was more than just a speed option. He was a weapon the team was planning to use in multiple ways. Jet sweeps, deep routes, punt returns. His versatility was quietly becoming a big part of the playbook. What makes this setback more frustrating is the timing. Horn had been rising fast during OTAs, earning trust, and getting valuable reps with Bryce. Losing that time can slow his development, especially when chemistry is still being built. Even though the Panthers have depth with players like Jalen Coker, Renfro, and the explosive rookie T-Mac, there's no true replica for Horn's unique skill set. The coaching staff might downplay it publicly, but internally, they know how delicate momentum can be, especially in a young offense trying to find its edge. This injury forces a subtle shift. Depth charts will be tested, play designs might have to be reworked, and while the Panthers aren't panicking, they are adjusting. But that's not the only quiet reshuffle happening behind the scenes. What unfolded during the draft war room offers a glimpse into a new power dynamic and one bold decision that changed everything. Inside the war room on draft night, the Carolina Panthers stood at a crossroads. With the 8th overall pick in their hands, the phone started ringing. One of those calls came from the Los Angeles Rams, offering a trade that could have sent the Panthers tumbling all the way back to pick 26. For a brief moment, it looked like Carolina might pull the trigger. They had the chance to collect extra picks, play the long game, and trust the board. But then something shifted. A conversation between Brent Tillis and GM Dan Morgan changed the tone of the room and set the course for everything that followed. What fans didn't see that night was the internal tug of war. Some wanted to play it safe and stack assets. Others were staring down one name on their board, refusing to let him slip away. That name was T-Mac. And when the Rams came back with an offer that didn't match what Dan Morgan had originally proposed, the mood became clear. Carolina wasn't bluffing. If they couldn't get what they wanted, they weren't moving an inch. Seconds later, Morgan made the call. Stay put, draft the guy. And just like that, a statement was made, not just about talent, but about identity. This wasn't the Panthers from 2 years ago. This was a franchise choosing conviction over comfort, a front office willing to pass on extra picks because they believed one player was worth more than the rest combined. But the ripple effect didn't stop at the draft board. The same mindset is now showing up in how Carolina's handling its defensive backfield, and what's not being said might matter more than what is. Something doesn't add up with the way Carolina is talking about its defensive backs. On the surface, Coach Dave Canales seems confident. He name-dropped players like Shamar, Corey Thornton, and Chow Smith-Wade as standout performers during spring practices. He praised the competition, the effort, the versatility. But for a team that's been linked to potential DB additions all offseason, the tone felt a little too polished, too rehearsed. Like he was saying just enough to satisfy questions, but not enough to reveal the real plan. The quiet ones usually mean something's brewing, and in this case, it might be more than just coach speak. That suspicion only grows when you remember what assistant coach Darren Bates said recently. He hinted at a move coming, then cut himself off, saying he couldn't say more. That's not just casual talk. That's a sign. Whether it's a trade or a late free agent signing, something is being held close, and the Panthers have every reason to keep it quiet. If they're targeting someone on the market, revealing their hand could drive up the price or attract other suitors, this isn't just roster management, it's strategy in motion. There's growing buzz that Carolina could be preparing to part ways with veteran defensive lineman Ashawn Robinson. It started with a Bleacher Report feature, naming one player from each team who could be traded, and Robinson was their pick for the Panthers. At first glance, it's surprising. He finished last season with 80 total tackles and 5.5 sacks. Solid numbers for an interior lineman. But the deeper you look, the more it starts to make sense. His Pro Football Focus grade was just 54.6 overall, and his run defense, once considered a strength, graded even lower. The tape tells a different story than the box score. There's also the contract factor. Robinson is heading into the second year of a 3-year deal, and the money only goes up from here. At the same time, he's no longer a clear starter. Right now, he sits behind Tershawn Wharton on the depth chart, and rookie Jaden Crumedy is quietly waiting for an opportunity. If the Panthers can flip Robinson to a team willing to overpay for his stat line without noticing the drop-off in impact, it could be a smart business move. Carolina would get younger, cheaper, and possibly gain future draft capital in the process. Now the question flips to you. Do you believe Carolina made the right call standing behind it? And what about everything else we've broken down? Should Ashawn Robinson be traded? Is Bryce Young finally ready? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss what's next. Because in Carolina, this rebuild might be over faster than anyone thinks.